Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're pushing right past all that surface-level hype and the daily stock ticker frenzy. We're going to unpack something really fascinating. The entirely different investment timelines of three absolute titans in the pharmaceutical space. Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and Merck. You know these names. They are constantly dominating the headlines. But honestly, when you strip away the noise, we are looking at three completely distinct strategies. Okay, let's dive into this. The central mystery we're unraveling today, it isn't just your standard stock comparison. No, it's a real-time, thrilling look at the actual future of medicine. Every single investor, doctor, and industry analyst is out there asking the exact same question right now. Where is the next wave of pharmaceutical growth actually coming from? Like, who's best positioned to capture it? And maybe more importantly, what are investors already paying for that future today? Well, to answer that, we've got to look at each company individually. First up, Section 1, Lilly's unprecedented growth engine. 48%. Just let that sink in for a second. Eli Lilly's second quarter 2026 worldwide revenue hit an explosive $23 billion. That is a 48% jump year over year. We're talking hypergrowth on a truly massive scale. And Lilly isn't just looking in the rearview mirror either. They confidently hiked their full year 2026 revenue guidance to somewhere between $85 and $87 billion. For a company of this size, that projection is just staggering. So what's fueling this rocket ship? The obesity and diabetes market, completely. Mounjaro alone pulled in nearly $10 billion, $9.94 billion to be exact, in just one single quarter. That's up 91%. And right on its heels, Zepbound added another $4.93 billion, up 46%. You put those together, and these two medications alone brought in nearly $14.9 billion in one quarter. It's wild. But you know, the real story is kind of hiding underneath that headline revenue. Sure, Lilly's worldwide revenue jumped 48%, but that growth was actually driven by a massive 60% increase in volume, while their realized prices actually declined by 13%. That's a super crucial takeaway. Lilly is driving this unprecedented growth by getting substantially more medicine to more patients, not by just jacking up the price tags. But it does raise a pretty major long-term question for the whole GLP-1 industry. As this volume keeps scaling, how much of that revenue can these companies actually hold on to after all the discounts and pricing pressures? And that question gets even more pressing when we pivot our focus. Moving on to Section 2, Novo's fight for dominance. Novo Nordisk is shifting into this really fascinating defensive and turnaround strategy right now. To fight back against Lilly's rapid Zepbound expansion, Novo is strategically looking beyond the needle. They just launched a late-stage study for an oral Wegovy pill, enrolling 450 adults for 60 weeks. And the goal here is brilliant, honestly. They're testing if lower maintenance doses of a pill can keep the weight loss benefits going while potentially improving tolerability for the patient. It's a direct, calculated response to a rapidly changing market. Because here is exactly how this weight loss war is evolving. We obviously started with the injections. That's what put this whole market on the map. Now we're rapidly moving toward pill forms for easier access. But the real frontier, that's the next generation of drugs entirely. And the absolute vital thing to understand here is that this market is not winner take all. Patients prioritize completely different things. Some just want maximum weight loss, right? Others really want the convenience of a pill, and some care most about minimizing side effects or just getting insurance coverage. All this variety means there's plenty of room for multiple winners. Which brings us to the future beyond today's blockbusters. Both of these companies are literally developing their replacements before the current drugs even reach maturity. It's crazy. On Lilly's side, we have retatrutide. They just reported positive phase 3 trial data, and they're aiming for a Q1 2027 U.S. biologics application targeting obesity, sleep apnea, and osteoarthritis. Meanwhile, over on Novo's side, they are aggressively pushing their next-generation candidate, CagriSema. They're absolutely not resting on their laurels here. They're actively building tomorrow's market today. All right, let's switch gears. Section 3. Merck's life after KEYTRUDA. We are leaving the obesity drug wars behind and stepping into a story of massive scale and necessary diversification. $8.4 billion. That is the revenue generated in Q2 2026 alone by Merck's KEYTRUDA family, up 4% year over year. I mean, it is a phenomenal, truly historic cancer franchise. But it also perfectly illustrates the inherent risk and the incredibly high stakes of relying on a single massive product. When one medicine gets this dominant within a company's portfolio, the market constantly demands to know what happens to the whole company when that patent expires or when the market around that drug inevitably changes. Merck's answer to this challenge is a fascinating transition. Right now, it's all about squeezing out every last drop of KEYTRUDA's dominance by expanding it into earlier stage cancers and metastatic indications. But the long-term survival of the company, that rests on their new oncology pipeline. A prime example is their SESAC-TMT program. Merck recently highlighted positive phase 3 results in advanced endometrial cancer, showing some really clear improvements in overall and progression-free survival compared to standard chemotherapy. They are literally using KEYTRUDA's current cash flow to build their post-KEYTRUDA future. So, stepping back from all the micro details for a second, let's look at the macro view. Section 4, 3 companies, 3 investment DCs. When we place them side by side, these strategies are completely distinct. Eli Lilly's core story, that's pure growth. The bet is that their GLP-1 momentum will keep going and their pipeline will deliver. Novo Nordisk's story is defense. Their core bet is that they can protect their GLP-1 leadership and transition seamlessly to next-gen drugs. And Merck is a diversification story. Their bet is using an absolute cash engine in oncology to fund a brand new pipeline. So there is no universal winner here. It entirely depends on which specific future you believe in and where you want to invest your time and capital. The crucial point is how these different scenarios are actually set up to play out. For the Lilly bull case to work, huge existing demand has to flawlessly meet their retatrutide expansion, which means they have to keep beating already sky-high valuation expectations. For Novo's base case, they really need the market to support multiple winners, and their oral Wegovy has to succeed to help them regain that momentum. And finally, for Merck, the ultimate risk case is overconcentration. If their new pipeline fails to replace KEYTRUDA, their core foundation is going to shake. With all of this in mind, what should we actually be paying attention to? Section 5. What investors most watch. If you want to track these futures, there are a few concrete mechanics you've got to watch over the next 5 years. For the GLP-1s, it's all about volume growth versus pricing power and tracking how quickly those oral pills actually get adopted. We also need to keep a really close eye on the clinical progress of Lilly's retatrutide. Over at Merck, definitely watch the exact growth rate of KEYTRUDA, but keep an absolute microscope on their new pipeline launches. Because ultimately, fortunes in this industry are only made when brilliant clinical science successfully transitions into a commercially scalable product. As we wrap up this explainer, we really need to look out at the broader horizon. Section 6, the next pharma battle. There is a reality to this industry that just perfectly captures what we're seeing right now. It goes like this. The biggest pharmaceutical winner of the next decade may not be the company with today's blockbuster. It may be the company that develops what replaces it. The real, monumental battle forming right now is between the injectable drugs of today, the oral pills of tomorrow, and entirely new, unprecedented treatment mechanisms that we are honestly just beginning to understand. Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Which company can turn today's incredible scientific advantage into tomorrow's durable cash flow? Will it be Lilly's hypergrowth, Novo's strategic defense, or Merck's calculated diversification? The pipelines are set, the trials are running, and over the coming quarters, we are going to find out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep your eyes on the data, and always keep questioning those surface-level stories. See you next time.